So this is part 3 of sketching the rated R superstar, and there are so many things we are going to discuss on the part 3 of sketching the rated R superstar, the edge. And before we start this tutorial, my only request is to just subscribe, and if you have loved part 1 and part 2, just subscribe and like these videos, because if you will like and comment what were your favorite things, it will give me more motivation and it will allow YouTube to just give me more algorithm benefits and this type of things. If you don't like this video, you can also dislike, right? So let's start this to part 3 or final part of sketching edge. So we are going to focus mainly, but before these things, if you want to buy the tools, I have given the links in the description box, because so many people also ask me in my every tutorial, and when I upload the tutorials, they go and ask me in my Instagram and this type of things, but they don't see the description of my videos. I have also given everything on my description box. You can buy the tools. So let's start this tutorial. And for the eyes part of the edge, we have to discuss in part 2, but I am discussing it on the part 3. And the main reason is that there was so many details for the forehead and ear part and this type of things. So now for the eye of making eye of the edge, we are going to use a mechanical pencil. So make outlines first, make where the eyes are going on and this type of things. Now what happens is that some part of the eyebrows and some part of the hairs and this type of things, like eyelashes, eyebrows, and these are the parts where so many smaller details are going on. But for this particular tutorial, for the eyebrows, not much details are visible. So if you don't see details, as I always say that if you don't see details, just don't apply those details. So leave the eyebrows as it is, use H pencil as the base layer, just apply layer a bit more pressure and make eyebrows. Then again you blend it using blending stump. You can use blending stump for the parts. Now again we have made a detailed or outline on the eyes. Now again blend it using blending stump, the smallest blending stump. And now again for the downside part of the eye, there are a little bit more shadows also, right? If you can focus. So for those parts, again use a blending stump and just blend them. And then finally again for the first layer and second layer, the same thing is that just go layer a bit more further. For the first layer, second layer, third layer, go like 2B pencil, 3B pencil, 4B pencil, like the inner part, like pupil part, and these are the parts where more darker areas are there. So for the darker areas, just go for 8B pencil or 6B pencil. Like lighter parts like eyebrows part, center of the eyebrows is a little bit more darker, so for those parts use 4B pencil. So you have to keep on focusing where the grades of pencil you should use for making parts, like H pencil, 2B pencil. These are the pencils like will be used for the nose part, where the center of the nose is more whiter or more lighter, so use H pencil. For the downside part of the nose, where shadow of nose is going on, so use 6B pencil or 4B pencil, but don't use it directly. Just go for base layer, first layer, third layer, and layer by layer, and after every layer blend them using blending stump or tissue, whatever you have. So and nose is the same thing, but the center part of the nose is a little bit more whiter, so use mono eraser in the end, not far directly. Now for the beard part, which is the most difficult part, again use a mechanical pencil and make every smaller hairs that you see. Make every smaller hairs, like the right hand side part of the face of the beard of the edge. Some part of the face are having whiter beard, but the left hand side part of face is not having so much of whiter beards. And the reason is that some part of the right, if you can focus on the right hand side part of the face of the edge, some part are having whiter beards because light source is directly on them, so whiter beards are more visible. And left hand side part of the face is not much detailed and not much, little bit more darker as compared to right hand side. So focus on these things. Make every hair smaller hairs visible using mechanical pencil. Again blend it using a makeup brush or paint brush, whatever you have. Now after blending them, again use a mono eraser to create those whiter beards. Just focus that I am telling you that use mono eraser to create whiter hairs. And for making those smaller hairs, you have to rub your mono eraser after every 1 or 2 seconds, because what happens that while making smaller to smaller details using mono eraser, your mono eraser will look a little bit more dirty. So after every 2 or 3 strokes after making smaller hairs, again just rub your mono eraser so that you have a smaller and more detailed values using mono eraser. Now for the curly hairs of the edge and the downside part or the end part of the hairs, just use the same technique that we have applied for the forehead part. Just make the longer hairs using mechanical pencil as a base layer, then blend it using a blending stump, using makeup brush, then again use mono eraser to create highlights, and then again use a 4B or 5B pencil for the parts which are completely dark. If you will see that some part of the golden hairs are there, right? So for those parts use mono eraser to create highlights, and then again you can gradually increase the grades like 8B or 6B pencil for making the darker parts. And same thing will be apply for the lips, for the every part, like left and right side part of the hairs and right hand side part of the hairs. Same technique will be applied there also. And if you are struggling for making those whiter hairs more visible, I will recommend you that use mono eraser with having patience, because if you don't have patience while making hairs are the most detailed thing if you are going for any type of longer hairs. If you are going for a straight hairs, it is more easy because you know the direction. If you are having the hairs like the edge is having, it is more difficult, so you have to have patience for making this type of hairs, and use pencils and your mono eraser in the direction of the hairs. So zoom out your pictures and have patience. Now in the previous time when I was sketching 1 year ago, 2 years ago, I was just sketching my sketches in just 1 hour or 45 minutes and this type of things, but I take almost 6 hours to 10 hours or 12 hours right now. So this type of things take times. Have patience while sketching. And the neck part and the neck bone part are the simple as we have made skin of the face, and the same technique will be applied here also. For the neck bone part of the edge, use a 3B pencil, and for the edge pencil as a base layer, just blend them, then again use 3B pencil. This is the basic thing, and it was a little bit more easier to sketch, but it is more easier for me to say. But have patience while sketching, you will have more and more good results finally. So have patience while making any type of portraits. This sketch was a little bit more easy for me because I was just using a graphite pencil and there was not much blending. So for me, but just keep on focusing on details and apply details, and you will see the results. Not finally, not at start, but in the end. So see you in next tutorial. Till then, bye bye. So that was all for this tutorial. If you learned something from this video, subscribe and drop a like. And comment down your question and queries regarding this tutorial. Meanwhile, take care of your loved ones too. Have an artistic day. Tattoos.